Well, we've been coming to the Barber Vintage Festival for a long time, and this year we were excited to release and announce and launch our Jack Pine Cycle brand here at Ace Corner. Jack Pine Cycle is rooted in the motorcycle adventures of the Midwest, Michigan specifically. We're rooted in the Jack Pine Enduro race. It's been running for 91 years this year. So we build and restore vintage Triumph motorcycles from the 50s and 60s that raced and won those races. Jack Pine fits in really nicely here at Barber because it fills sort of a nice niche between, everybody's familiar with like the cafe racer culture of the East Coast and Europe, and the desert sled culture and Steve McQueen and that whole history of Southern California. Well, there's this whole culture in between in the Midwest that's about throw a couple of bikes on the trailer and head up north for the weekend and hit some trails. And that's kind of what Jack Pine Cycle is all about. It's that dual sport ethos, if you will. Well, Barber Vintage Festival is centered around the premier motorcycle museum in the world. The George Barber collection of almost 2,000 bikes is just mind-blowing in a modern facility that rivals anything else I've ever seen. And the Vintage Festival is a annual gathering of about 60,000 vintage motorcycle enthusiasts. So it's racing, and it's ogling, and it's riding, and it's the paraphernalia and the memorabilia and the history and the heritage, and it's just a celebration of this motorcycle culture. If you come to the Barber Vintage Festival, you're going to see concourse perfect restorations of every make and model. You're going to see bobbers and choppers and dirt bikes and mini bikes. You're going to see bikes that are one of one known to exist, and you're going to see bikes that are still being used as daily transportation in third world countries. I mean, if you have a love of motorcycles, the machines are here. This culture gives people an opportunity to get back in touch with and connect with a visceral part of the life we live. It feeds the other half of the brain. There's something really difficult to define, and it's really satisfying about that smell of the gas and the roar of an exhaust, or smelling the rubber that's burning around the track. I mean, there's something that just feeds a need that a lot of people here have. And if you have an interest in immersing yourself in that, this is the place to be. Yeah, I mainly focus on Triumph motorcycles. I learned and was mentored by some of the best in the world, Don Hutchinson, John Healy, amongst others. And so my goal is to restore Triumphs to the way they rolled off the factory line in every way, and down to the very last exacting detail. So I get really obsessive about spark plug caps and amp meters with the right font and the right oil hose routing, and is the pinstripe cleared over, or is it on top of the clear? And I get really obsessive about it, and I'm proud to say my efforts have really paid off. I mean, my restorations are being recognized as some of the finest in the world, and nothing can give me more pleasure than that. That's really fulfilling. So Jack Pine Cycle, we're located in suburban Detroit, Sylvan Lake, Michigan to be exact. We've got a website, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and we're at all the big events throughout the course of the year. So we love when people get in touch with us and want to talk Triumphs.